Hello kiddos, hope you're doing good. So today this is our lecture 2 of Animal Kingdom, and what are we going to see today? What are these pictures now? What are those structures? Yeah, absolutely right. So we are going to see Porifera. Okay? So Porifera is the very first phylum. What are these pictures? What are these poriferans? Ma'am, please name them. Yes, of course, I'll give you examples. So the very first one, you call it Euplectella. This one, we call it Spongilla. And this one, which is like a bath soap, na? A bathing sponge, we call that as Euspongia. Right? So all these are different examples of poriferans. But before beginning, children, we have to understand, right, what is porifera. So let us do it. So what I'm planning now is, let me just give you some general characteristics and typical characteristics so that you will find it easy. Okay, general characteristics of porifera. Okay. All right. We are going to do what? The general characteristic. I think the thickness is even more. Okay. General characteristics. Okay, ma'am, what do you mean by general characteristics? The basic criteria which I taught you, na? Right? The six main, like habit, habitat, habit, right? Uh, then you have the body organization. What about body symmetry? Uh, then what about body coelom? Then fifth one, the germ layers. What about their germ layers and body plan? And then what is the sixth one? Let me write it here. Segmentation. Right? So when you talk about these characters, these are the general characteristics of the phylum Porifera. So talking about say the habitat, they are of course aquatic. Habitat, when you talk, they are what? Aquatic. Under aquatic, whether they are freshwater or marine, mostly marine. Mostly marine they are, right? And there is only one freshwater. The exception I will write. Exception is Spongilla. This poriferan you can find in freshwater, right? And talking about their habit, they are both solitary and colonial. And children, you have to know one main thing about poriferans. They are sedentary. Sedentary means what? They are non-motile, right? They are attached to some solid substratum. They are attached to a solid bottom. They won't move, okay? So they are sedentary. That also you can add. Then body organization. Of course, you all know cellular level of organization, right? Very basic organization. Body symmetry, asymmetry. Okay. Body coelom, they are acoelomate. What about the germ layers? They are not even diploblastic, they are reduced diploblastic, and they don't have a body plan as such. So they are reduced diploblastic. Okay. And segmentation, no segmentation. That's all. See how easy, right? We have completed the general characteristics of Porifera. And from the, I'll also tell you another interesting thing. This Porifera, commonly we also call them sponges. Okay, they have a lot of pores in their body. So now next we will see the typical characters where you get to know about, you know, how they look like, what is the structure, right, and what are the functionalities they have. That we will see under typical characteristics. I hope this is clear now. Super. All right. So now moving on to typical characteristics. Okay, so basically we are talking about Porifera typical character. But before seeing that, let me draw a diagram. Let me use a black pen. Okay, so follow my diagram and draw something like this, something like this. You have some flagellated cells. I'll tell you what is what. Okay. And then outer like this. Some barrel shaped cells. Okay. Exterior, you are drawing some barrel shaped cells. Okay. And apart from that, another cells like this. So this is how a cut section of a poriferan would look like. Okay, sir. So what are these now? So those flagellated cells, na, this one, we call it conocytes, or you call it flagellated cells, or you call it collar cells. Okay, so there are three different names for those uh, cells having tail-like structure, na? So you call it conocytes or flagellated cells or collar cells. And those barrel-shaped cells, barrel-shaped cells are called porocytes. And these ones attached to the sides, these are called pinacocytes. So basically this porocyte plus pinacocyte, na, porocyte plus pinacocytes, they form poroderm, a layer, okay, a skin like layer. Now the important element here is the conocytes, very important. You know what they do? Basically, they help in maintaining water currents. They are aquatic, right? So maintaining water currents, and it also helps in digestion and excretion. Okay, and one more thing, these holes now of the porocyte which you see right at the sides, I'm highlighting with the red color, as you all can see this opening at the sides, huh? These are called ostia. This opening is called ostia, the one at the sides, and this opening now, this main opening, this is called as osculum. osculum, osculum, right? Basically the water enters through the ostia like this and exits through the osculum, and this center portion we call it spongiocele. Sorry, it's spongiocele. Okay, so this is how a porifera would look like, and some of the poriferans, if you see, they'll have some structures like this outside. Okay, we call it spicules. Okay, which is made up of calcium spongin fibers, we say. Okay, yeah. So this is about their structure. Now, talking about the water currents, right? Their main functioning capability is because of water canal system. Very important. What is this water canal system? I'll tell you. You can see the osculum there, where the water enters and exits, right? That, forms a water canal system. Let me separately write it. Yeah. The first typical character is water canal system, which helps in what? There are four functionalities. Helps in obtaining food, removing waste, obtaining oxygen, and also in reproduction. Okay, so this is the functionality of the water canal system. Getting it, children? The very first typical character. Then digestion. They undergo intracellular, within the cell, intracellular digestion. Okay, next one, respiration. Respiration is through their general body surface. Okay, so you can simply write general body surface. So let me use a short form here, GBS. Okay, so then if you see circulation, circulation is also through general body surface. And then what? Excretion. Excretion, they are ammonotelic. What is the meaning of ammonotelic? They excrete out ammonia as a waste product, and that is also happening through GBS, general body surface. Okay, So we have 5 beautiful typical characteristics. Yes, a little more is there. So I am erasing this off. Next, if you see, sixth one, nervous system and sense organs. No, absent. So you can write a no there. Talking about reproduction, both sexual and asexual. Under asexual, if you see, what are the types? Fragmentation, regeneration, and gemule formation. What is gemule formation now? Gemule formation means, children, it's like internal budding. Internal budding. Okay, these are different types of asexual reproduction. Then fertilization is internal fertilization. And ninth one, development. What is development, children? Here you have to talk about whether they undergo direct or indirect. Direct development means there will not be a larval stage. Here this is indirect development. Indirect development means there is a larva stage present. Okay, so whenever you come across phylums where there is indirect development, you have to know the larva names. Larva names are highly repeated in the exams. Okay, so let me mention the larva names. Have you noted it down? For development, let me give the examples of larva. So there is this thing called, so for development I am giving examples. Under development for larva names, there is something called parenchyma, which is the larva of which sponge? This is the larva of which sponge? Any idea, any guesses? Leucosolania. Okay, this is a sponge name. And another one is amphiblastula. This is the larva of which sponge? Cycon. Okay. And finally, you can write the examples. Examples of poriferans. Okay. First, you can write Euplectella. I showed you the image, right? The very first one, right? So they call it a very expensive gift, a Japanese gift they call it. Okay, costliest gift in Japan, they say. And then you can write Spongilla, which is freshwater sponge. Then these two names you can pick, Leucosolania and Cycon. And then you can write Euspongia. Euspongia picture also I showed you, right? Huh? Euspongia, the bath sponge. Okay, this is the costliest gift in Japan. The Euplectella. So that you can remember. Spongilla, freshwater sponge. Right, Cycon will be like unshaped sponge. So you can remember. So these are 5 examples I have given. That's all. Porifera is done. Yeah. So let me give you few homework questions and you can feel free to put the answers in the chat box. So the homework question is, What kind of fertilization takes place in Porifera? And name the asexual mode of reproduction in Porifera. Feel free to put your answers in the comment box, and if you have any doubts, feel free to ask it. And that's all for today. Enjoy your day, and the next session will be all about sealant strata. So come back with the same josh. Bye bye, tata, take care.